You've seen the ads. You're scrolling through your feed. Maybe you just looked at a new car or posted a photo of your kid's first steps, and suddenly, there it is. A smiling agent, a catchy jingle, and a promise that we're here for you. Most people see it as a boring necessity, just another monthly tax on being an adult. But as a quant, when I see those ads, I don't see a safety net. I see a massive, high-speed data engine that is betting against you in real time. I see the float. I see reinsurance arbs. I see one of the most aggressive, most calculated gambles in human history. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain. We're going to trace the path of your money from your bank account to the server farms of today and all the way back to the pirate-infested waters of the 1600s. I'm going to show you how your peace of mind is actually the fuel for a global investment empire. Let's start with what actually matters to you, your home. To you, it's not just real estate. It's where you brought your kids home from the hospital. It's 30 years of sacrifice, mortgage payments, and memories. If that house burns down or a storm rips off the roof, it's not just a financial loss, it's a life-altering catastrophe. This is the emotional gap that insurance fills. Insurance is a risk-shifting machine. Its job is to take a hit that would ruin one person and spread it so thin across 1 million people that nobody even feels it. Imagine your neighborhood. 1,000 houses, each worth $500,000. If one house burns, that family loses everything. But if every family chips in $500, they've created a $500,000 pool. One house burns, the pool pays out, and the family is saved. That sounds like a charity, right? A community looking out for each other. That's where the gray suits come in. They aren't interested in your community. They're interested in the spread. He looks at that same neighborhood and says, I'll manage this for you. But instead of $500, everyone pays me $2,000. To you, $2,000 a year, or about $160 a month, feels like a fair price for sleep. You don't have to worry about the math. You just pay the bill. But look at the agent. He's collecting $2,000 from 1,000 families. That's $2 million in cold hard cash hitting his account on January 1st. He's run the actuarial models. He knows that in a normal year, only one house in that group will actually have a claim. He pays out the $500,000, the family writes a 5-star review, but the company just walked away with $1.5 million in pure profit. He didn't save the neighborhood, he just arbitraged their fear. If you think this is a modern corporate invention, you're wrong. This game was perfected over 300 years ago in the grime and smoke of Lloyd's Coffee House in London. In the 1680s, the world's economy was on the water. Merchant ships were setting sail for the East Indies, carrying fortunes in spices, gold, and silk. But the risks were insane. Pirates, typhoons, or just a bad navigator could wipe out a merchant's entire family fortune in a single afternoon. The ship owners were desperate. They would gather at Lloyd's, drinking copious amounts of coffee and talking to wealthy investors. A broker would walk around with a slip, a piece of paper describing the ship, the crew, and the destination. If an investor liked the odds, they would write their name at the bottom of the slip, stating they'd cover 5% or 10% of the ship for a fee. Because they literally wrote their names under the description of the risk, they became known as underwriters. They weren't protectors, they were high-stakes gamblers who realized that if they bet on enough ships, the law of large numbers meant they would always come out ahead.
Now, let's move back to the modern day. Our underwriter has his $1.5 million profit, but he has a problem. What if a black swan event happens? What if a hurricane hits the entire neighborhood at once? If 50 houses burn down, he owes $25 million, money he doesn't have. This is where the math gets truly quant. He doesn't just cross his fingers, he reinsures. Think of reinsurance as inception for finance. It's insurance for insurance companies. Our underwriter takes a portion of your $2,000 premium, let's say $500, and pays it to a massive, shadowy global firm like Swiss Re or Berkshire Hathaway. Now he's hedged. If the neighborhood is wiped out, the global firm pays the bill. If nothing happens, our underwriter still keeps his management fee. He has effectively turned your emotional need for a home into a risk-free annuity for himself. He's passed the parcel of danger to someone with deeper pockets, and he's keeping a cut of your hard-earned money just for being the middleman.
Here is the billion-dollar secret the ads will never tell you. If you think insurance companies make their billions from your premiums, you're only seeing the surface. The real money is in the float. The moment you pay that $2,000 premium, that money doesn't sit in a vault waiting for you to have a car accident. It goes straight into the quant machine. Insurance companies are actually hedge funds disguised as safety nets. They take that massive pool of cash, your safety money, and they invest it. They buy government bonds. They fund Silicon Valley tech startups. They buy massive luxury skyscrapers in Manhattan. Even if they pay out every single dollar in claims later, they've already held your money for 3, 5, or 10 years. If they earn 7% interest on your money for a decade before you file a claim, they've already doubled their money. They aren't in the business of protection. They are in the business of using your cash as interest-free leverage.
This is why you can't escape those insurance commercials. It's not about being a good neighbor. It's a war for liquidity. In the finance world, the float is the holy grail. It's other people's money that you get to use for free. This is exactly how Warren Buffett built Berkshire Hathaway. He didn't just pick good stocks. He used the float from his insurance companies to buy those stocks. He used your car insurance premiums to build an empire. When you see a Gecko, a Flo, or a Mayhem ad, remember, they are fighting for the right to hold your cash so they can use it to move markets. You aren't just a customer. You are a liquidity provider for the global elite.
So, at the end of the day, is insurance a scam? No. On a rainy Tuesday night in 1666 or 2026, it's the only thing that keeps a disaster from becoming a total life collapse. It's a necessary tool for a fragile world. But you have to understand the price you're truly paying. You aren't just paying for a repair. You're paying a fear tax to a system that uses your hard work to fund its own growth. Next time you see an insurance ad pop up on your phone, don't just look at the monthly cost. Look at the math. Because in this game, if you don't know who the liquidity is, it's you. I'm the Quant Insider. If this opened your eyes to how the float works, hit that subscribe button.